Hey refugees, if you couldn't make it tonight, I just wanted to record a little quick video. We talked about money tonight. You know, it seems to be on a lot of people's minds with the $1.5 billion dollar lotto that's going on right now. Somebody might have won it just now, who knows. But money seems to be something we talk about a lot of, and actually the Bible discusses money a lot. Much of the Bible, even Jesus' parables, deal with the topic of money or resources. So I had four fat points tonight. Fat point number one was that money's not evil. All right. It seems like we live in a society today where we try to demonize people who have lots of money, and a lot of people try to look down upon people that don't have money. So it's like a divisive thing in our society today. The Bible doesn't say anything about money being evil. Now it does say that the love of money can lead you down to a path of evilness. So the key word there is the love of. So money itself is just a tool, it's just a resource, but when it begins to be something that you love, you desire, then you're going down to a wrong place, down a wrong path. So that was fat point number one. Actually, the scripture is in, I believe, 1 Timothy, where it says that the love of money is the root of evil things. Fat point number two was that your treasure reveals where your heart is. All right, that's another New Testament scripture. Essentially, it's saying that, well, dude, if you could follow me for a month and watch how I spend my money, and watch how I spend my time, how I allocate my resources, that paints a pretty good picture of Matt Penn, about what I treasure in life, about what I really find is valuable. So money is a good indicator. How I spend my money, how I spend my resources in life, and even time itself, just to count that as a resource. That begins to reveal what's really important in my life. And I challenge the guys that were there tonight to take a look at 1 week, 2 weeks of your life, and how are you allocating the resources in your life? Because that says a lot about what you really treasure and about who you really are. Sometimes that could be a challenging thought to actually think about truthfully. The third point was this. Money is, we talked about tithing. We talked about the concept of 10%. It's an Old Testament concept that Jesus did talk about in the New Testament too. Back in the Old Testament days, they would give 10% of their livestock and their crops. I mean, real things that they produced from the land, to the priest, to the church, and then that was used to help feed the poor, take care of the widows. It was mission work. So that was a 10% thing, and that's not a bad number. 10% is a good number to think about even today. When you think about tithing, giving 10% of what you were given, whether it's salary, whether it's time, whether it's resources, to give back into something godly, with church or a ministry or a mission. And that's a good standard. I don't necessarily hold fast to 10%, but there's nothing wrong with 10%. 20% is good, 30% is good as well. But the key is that we are realizing that something that we have been given from God, whether it's money, time, resources, that we're giving that back as an offering. Okay. Again, it goes back to that point number one, point number two is that what we treasure is where our heart is. So tithing is a way for us to physically demonstrate what we really treasure in our lives. Okay. The fourth fat point is this. It's not about the money. You're thinking to yourselves, oh no, well, Matt, the whole topic tonight was about money. My last point is, it's not about the money. I mean, God doesn't care about your money. I mean, He's God. He doesn't need your money. I like Jesus. Scripture, I think it's Matthew or Mark, one of the Gospels, where Jesus was just smacking down the Pharisees. He was telling them, hey, you guys get tithing. I mean, you do it, you check it off of your list. I mean, it's one of the things that you check off of your list, and that's a good thing. You know, slow clap, way to go, Pharisees. You get tithing, but you don't get the why of tithing. You don't get the heart. You don't understand justice. You don't understand mercy. And what Jesus was saying was, tithing is a part of it, but you got to get the heart stuff. All right, you got to understand the why. And in fact, that's probably more important than the money. It is more important than the money. There was a time in the scripture that we talked about tonight was when Jesus was hanging around the corner, I guess, and he was just kind of watching people going in and out of the synagogue and giving of their tithes, giving of their offerings. And he noted that a lot of rich men went in and dropped off their money, which is great. And then he saw, the Bible describes as an old widow, or I'm sorry, a widow who dropped in a couple coins. And Jesus pulled the disciples together and said, you know what she just gave was far more than all the rich people combined just now. You know, what he was trying to say was that she gave her all. In fact, that's literally what he said. He says she gave her all, whereas they might have just given enough so that really didn't even make a difference in their wallet. The point was not the amount of money, is what I'm trying to say. The point was giving your all, giving of significance. Now, it's important to know that, you know, I just had the disclaimer, I guess, is that I'm not asking for money. This is not a money talk as far as, well, I want your money. That's not what this is about at all. This is about as we're growing up and getting past junior high and into high school and into college, developing a giving heart now is so important. Developing a strategy of how you're going to deal with these resources that you're going to be given throughout the rest of your life is something that we've got to nail down now when we're in junior high and high school. When it seems like it's easy now to give 10% of an allowance or 10% of a salary. It's not easy when you get that first $25,000 or $30,000 paycheck or $50,000 paycheck. But if you start that habit now, when you're 13, 14, 15 years old, when you're 17, 18 years old, and habitually give generously when you're young, it becomes so much more easier and so much more a part of who you are. That's really what the talk was about tonight. Learning how to give generously because you love Christ. It wasn't about putting a price tag on it. It wasn't about asking for donations for anything. It was about, how can I learn to have a giving heart? And giving is not necessarily writing a check to a church. Giving could be showing up and volunteering. Giving could be taking the talents that you have and using them for God's glory. Giving could be supporting a ministry that's not local, that maybe is international or national in scope. Giving could be you just showing up at a homeless shelter or a cold weather shelter and helping out. See, what Jesus was trying to get across was that when we give, it's worship. That when we give of ourselves, whether it's financially or time, or it's just it's another thing that we can do to worship God. So that's what we talked about tonight. If you didn't make it, we missed you. We love you guys. If there's anything that we can do for you from a volunteer standpoint, don't hesitate to hit me up on Facebook, reply to this video, text me or whatever. We're always here for you guys, no matter what. I'm getting cold right now. I'm gonna get back in the truck and hop home. I hope you enjoyed this video. Share it with your friends if you want to. Share it with your parents. That would be cool for them to see what we talked about tonight. That'd be awesome. and we'll see you next week. All right, guys. Bye-bye.